In this section, you'll be learning how to enhance AutoCAD drawings in Photoshop. We'll be creating an interface, if you will, between AutoCAD and Photoshop. And the first thing we need to do to build that is to create a custom printer driver and a custom paper size here in AutoCAD. Now I'm using AutoCAD 2014, but this procedure works in versions of AutoCAD all the way back to AutoCAD 2000. Go ahead and open the kitchen DWG file in your version of AutoCAD. And this is just a very simple drawing. It has only a few layers, which we can investigate just by typing LA enter for Layer Manager. So we just have a few layers here, and this is actually a drawing of my kitchen. So we're going to be learning how we can transfer this information from AutoCAD into Photoshop. And the best way that you can do that is to maintain the layer structure so that you have these same layers in Photoshop. And that will allow you to have independent line weight control. So to embark on this process, let's go ahead and examine the Lisp routine that I've written that automates this process. So to see that, type VLIDE. That stands for Visual Lisp Integrated Development Environment. So type that in and press enter, and that will open this separate program within AutoCAD. And from this program, you're going to open the Lisp program right here, lay numeral 2img.lisp, and this means layer to image. And that's what we're going to be doing here, is converting each layer into a separate image. I'm going to open that, and then let's maximize it. And this is a program I wrote some time ago, and there are three important names here that we have to remember. The print driver is called imageprinter.pc3. Paper size, we're going to call it image size. And of course, the color table will be called images, and we'll get to that later. So let's keep this in mind, and then go ahead, go back over to AutoCAD by clicking on it, and then type in options, or just OP enter for the shortcut. Go to the Plot and Publish tab, and right here click the Add or Configure Plotters button. This opens up a specific folder deep in your user profile that contains the PC3 files. These are the plotter files. So then we're going to create one with this wizard. So double click on the Add a Plotter wizard, and that opens up this step-by-step wizard interface. So click Next, and then we're going to be creating this directly on the local computer. So choose My Computer, Next, and then here we're going to scroll down and choose raster file formats. That's a format that is an image. There are a number of formats that are supported here. I favor the PNG file because it is a lossless image file, meaning nothing is affected by artifacts like they might be in a JPEG, and the PNG images are very small file sizes. So select that and click Next. Here we have an opportunity to import a legacy file. We're not going to do that. Click Next. Here we're going to plot to a file. Click Next. And here we have to type in that name from the Lisp program. It was Image Printer. And you're going to want to capitalize the first I and the P in printer, and don't use a space between the words. So it's just called Image Printer. Next. And then here we're going to edit the plotter configuration, and we're going to make a couple of changes. Under Graphics, we're going to expand that, go to Vector Graphics, and we want to output a very simple drawing that is simply a black and white image. So we're going to choose Monochrome, and the color depth will simply be 2 shades of gray, that is white and black. And then down below, we're going to click on Filter Paper Sizes, and we're going to say Uncheck All. And then above that, click on Custom Paper Sizes. And here is where we will add our own so-called paper size, but it's actually a pixel dimension because we're dealing with this raster image format. So I'm going to say Next. And then here I'm just going to make a large size. Let's call it 3000 pixels in width by 3000 pixels in height. Next. And here I'm going to call this image size. Again, using a capital for the I and the S. No space. Click Next and Finish. And then OK. and finish. So the result of that is that we now have an imageprinter.pc3 file, which incidentally you can double click and access that same information here if you want to make any other changes. We don't, so cancel out of that. And it also created a file here in this subfolder called image printer, and that is the 3000 by 3000 pixel output format. So I'll just close this window and click OK. And we've set up two important pieces of the bridge between AutoCAD and Photoshop that will enable us to output each layer as a separate image file.